Hello everybody, it's me again. I'm making another video. It's been long overdue, and this one is all about navigation. And I look like your little beacon of light coming to guide you on your way on the playa. So why am I making this video? Because of the multiple times that I got lost on the playa, both years. I got better the second year, but not the first year. The first year I was still confused by the last day. So maybe this video will help you so that you actually know what you're doing and figure it out before the last day that you're there. So let's talk about the system that the Burning Man relies on here for navigation. So this is a clock system. This is what you're going to be relying on for your navigation. And what you need to know is that 12 o'clock is where all of the art and things are. There's still art everywhere else, but most of the art is in what we call the deep playa, which is all up here. And then you will see that the little man in his little statue is in the middle of this clock that everything is on. And you'll see down here that there is a 6 o'clock, there is a 3, and there is a 9. And this is the system that you're going to be working on for the week that you are at Burning Man. So what you do need to know is that when you come into Burning Man right here, the entrance, you're coming from 9 o'clock. So you're gonna drive your little RV or your little car right in. And then you're going to figure out where you're going, depending on where you're parking or depending on where your camp is. But this is basically where you're coming in at, is 9 o'clock from what I remember. And once you're in and once you're parked and everything like that, then you're going to be on the system somewhere. And I'm not sure where you'll be, so I'm just going to go off of what you need to know. The easiest thing to always remember is where the hell is the man. Usually he's pretty large, and usually he's very lit up. So at nighttime, rely on him pretty heavily. But you also need to be relying on everything else that's lit up around you as well. So now that I've described that 12 o'clock is where the deep playa is, all of the art and all of that, there is the next thing called the temple. So the temple is another very, very large art piece. It's not usually as well lit up at night as the man, but it can be another way to gauge where 12 o'clock is and where the beginning of everything is, so that you know that you're out of the deep playa and you're back to civilization as it is known on the Burning Man map. So the temple is usually right here and right in a line all the way up to, the man can be found. So it's all within a line. So temple, man, and then everything else. These are all the RVs, tents, etc. are working on all of these different roads. So what's the other part of this timeline clock that you need to be aware of are the streets. And as you can see, the first street on this circle is called the Esplanade. The Esplanade has very large art pieces, very large camps that are giving a lot to the playa with music, places that, very large gifts. So you can find different bars on this particular Esplanade. A lot of the camps that have DJs and music can be found on the Esplanade. And they usually have a lot of things lit up. So it's another way to figure out where you are, is to pay attention to the things that are lit up on this very first ring. And then after the Esplanade, it goes in alphabetical order for street. So A, B, C, D, all the way down the line until you are out of the lines of cars and lines of RVs. So if somebody says, I live on Esplanade and 8, you're going to say, okay, well that must be right about here. And then you just keep going. So if they say, I live on, and they always change the name, so let's just say this is Alpha for the year, but it's not going to be that boring. If they say, I live on Alpha and 9, then you would know that it's right here. And that's where you would be able to find them. So that's how things work out there. So it's not just as easy though as alpha and 9. There's also 9:15, 9:30, 9:45 until you get to 10. So there is more complications with that than just saying alpha and 9, but it is a way to find your way. And there will be street signs as well that'll say alpha, that'll say 7:15, things like that. So be looking for the street signs, but sometimes they end up being taken or fall down, and then you'll just need to be relying on the system and the things around you to orient yourself. But always pay attention to that glowing man that is in the middle. Sometimes you're not able to see him though, and that's when you need to rely on other things or other, obstacles or art pieces to pay attention to where you are. So that's how this system works. So again, 12, 6, 9, 3. Man is right in the middle. 12 is where the temple is, and deep Playa is everything above 12. And I think that's about it for this little map. This is also, if you go to 6, is where center camp is, where you can find coffee and ice. One of the ice stations is there, and multiple other things. A lot of different talks are given on that area. So now that I've described that a little bit for you, let me tell you a little bit more. If you ever get lost at night, you need to stop, get off your bike or just stay still for a minute and use your auditory senses. There's been some times where I've been so far out on deep Playa that you can't really see very much light to be able to actually see where, all the RVs and stuff are. It seems kind of odd that you wouldn't be able to see even a little bit, but then there's people that are having parties on art cars that look like they are light and look like they are civilization, but they are also out on deep Playa, which that could be a good thing too. I mean, all you need to do is try to find other people that can help you. And so, just go towards anything. But again, pay attention, stop, listen, and also be looking for a large amount of light to see where you need to be going. And then just start riding. Ride towards light at all times, because that usually means you're just going to get to something or somebody that can direct you to where you need to be if you are that lost. Let's see what else. If it is dusty during the day, I actually think that navigation is harder during the day because you have less light. You can't really, at night you can kind of see the man and know what he looks like lit up. But during the day it might be more difficult to see where the man is since he's not lit up. So if it becomes a dust storm and you get stuck in a dust storm, you need to stop. You need to not move. And you need to be speaking pretty loudly in case there's people that are coming at you, because they may also be on bikes and may not see you because it's so dusty, and they may not be realizing that that's very dangerous. And so be paying attention, just stop, wait it out. Usually dust storms do not take that long, and then proceed with navigating where you are. Again, pay attention when you're going out in deep Playa during the day, and try to stay on a relatively straight path, or try to stay where you can kind of see civilization. You can kind of see the temple. You know how you rode a certain way so that you're able to get out easily if you're not bringing your phone. Because it's a lot easier if you bring your phone, and I know that people want to be disconnected, but even if you just have it on airplane mode and you're using it for navigation, it may save you a lot of hours and may save you a lot of anxiety that happens out there. Again, pay attention to things that are around you, especially on the very first day. And maybe just make a little note of it in your phone, or if you want to bring a notepad with you instead of using a phone, write down some of the things that you see as markers so that you are aware of what is even near your camp, so that if you're starting to get close, you'll have a marker. So there's going to be a lot of different things. There's going to be art pieces. There's going to be, fancy RVs. There's going to be certain kinds of tents. Obviously, don't rely on anything that is maybe going to move, like an art car. But write down, teacups, There's a very large statue of teacups that sometimes is there. Or write down large lady statue, large swan, any of these navigation pieces. RV with American flag on top. Write them down so that when you come back later, you know what you should be looking for and you know if you're getting closer. And dare I say, also do the same at night. It's so important to remember, and this is what I forgot, or what nobody told me the first year, was that everything looks so different at night. So you need to be not only paying attention to what everything looks like during the day, but also what it looks like at night, because it's going to get really confusing really fast. If you're going out at dusk and it isn't dark out yet, hopefully some of the lights will be on, so you can at least kind of see and take a look back at what it looks like on your area of the Esplanade if you're going across the Esplanade. Look back and see, is there a very large pink heart that may help you when you're trying to go back? Is there, a very large Ferris wheel that you can see when you look back? What are you looking at? Because those are the things that you are going to be looking for when you want to go home. So write those things down. Again, pay attention to the direction of the man. Are his arms like this? Are his arms like this? Literally paying attention to what direction are you looking at him, so that when you look at him later, you can be like, oh, his arms are like this. I must be on the opposite side of where I need to be, because when I rode out, his arms were like this. So be paying attention to that, or whatever they make him look like, because that changes as well. And then you'll be able to know, again, that maybe you're not in the right direction. Let's see. If you are in the deep Playa and you are trying to get back in, do not worry so much if you just keep riding and maybe you're in a wrong direction. There are fences, so you can't just keep going. If at some point you run into the fence, then you will know I am the wrong way, and you can just turn right back around. But there is a fence all the way at the very end of the whole thing, and of course, circling the whole thing. So even if you go in the direction in another way, you will have a clue that you are going to need to turn back around. So don't worry too much. There is something that will force you to stop. And some people want to get to that fence so that they can say that they got all the way to the fence and take a photo, like I did one year. Bring warm clothes at night, no matter what. Even if you think you're only going to be out an hour. Bring warm clothes with you, because it gets freezing at night, and especially after like 2 o'clock, 2 to like 7 a.m., it is so cold some nights that one of the nights I for real thought I was going to get hypothermia. So you want to just be prepared, and you also want to be kind of paying attention on your way out if you're noticing any fires that you could maybe stop at on the way back. Because sometimes it gets so cold that you need to be kind of trying to reheat yourself while you're getting back to your camp later on that night. So pay attention to where those fire pits are, or where like an art piece that has a fire flame on is, so that you can kind of warm up. And if it gets really cold, just get off your bike and walk it. That was a stupid mistake that we made, because we were so freezing and we were trying to get back so fast, but we were actually making ourselves colder because of the wind. At one point, we finally got off our bikes and it was so much more tolerable. And then we realized if we just walk our bikes back, it was actually pretty luxurious and it was nice and it wasn't hell. So try to be paying attention to that and getting off your bike if you need to. Always, always, always ask for help. This is not an event where you need to figure this out on your own. If somebody is near you, they may be able to navigate you very quickly rather than feeling like you need to do it on your own. That's what Burning Man is about. It's about a community, and people are there to help you. So if you really are lost, ask somebody. And if you're stopped at a fire, or you're stopped anywhere with other people and somebody looks really cold, this happened to a friend of mine at a fire, pay attention and help, because unfortunately, a lot of individuals may be on some kind of drug that is screwing with their temperature regulation. And what we don't want is somebody to get hurt. So the instance I'm thinking of is a friend of mine ended up at a fire, and somebody only had a t-shirt on and they were freezing, and they really looked like they were hurting, and they were very young. And so she took someone's pillow that they were holding, put it up to the fire to get it completely warm, and then pushed it into his chest. And you could instantly see the relief. So even just little things like that can help regulate someone's body temperature really quickly, and you could probably help save somebody from a lot of trouble and maybe even help them save their life. So pay attention to those things, and always be thinking of if there's something you could do to help, even for a minute, to heat them back up before you take off to try to get home yourself. One other thing is the iBurn phone app. So definitely download the iBurn phone app. It'll be iBurn 2018 most likely. You can find it pretty easily in the App Store. You can find it on Google if you are trying to look for it and just are curious. But what it is it's a interactive map. So things are added to it. You can put in where your camp is, or where, a little dot where you live. And then you can also see when you pull it up on your phone during the day or at night, you're going to turn into a little GPS circle, and it'll be on the grid of the Burning Man grid. So you'll see like a little circle that is you, and it'll even move with you as you go. So that is super easy. And I know a lot of people don't want to use their phones at Burning Man, but even if it's just for that purpose, I think it's extremely important if you are really bad at navigation, and again can save you a lot of trouble and maybe even save your life if you are freezing and really need to get somewhere quickly, especially like the EMT tent or anything like that. So that is something else that is really good, because then you can kind of watch where you're going too on the map to see if you're going the wrong way if you get kind of screwed up. You can also, again, bring a compass, and that can help you as well. Old school style. The last bit of advice is the night the man burns, it gets very disorienting because you rely on him so much throughout the event. And you need to learn how to navigate without him, which can be a little bit challenging because you rely on him the whole time. So the way to do that is to use the temple. So again, the temple becomes the man for navigation on Saturday night once the man burns. So pay attention to what the temple looks like again, and start using that as your point of how to navigate where you are. So again, wherever that temple is, that is 12. Everything else falls the same way, and just start using the temple rather than the man. And I think that's pretty much it. So good luck, and navigate yourself to Camp Trifecta to come find me. We are usually on the Esplanade, and we are usually between 9 and 7. But come see us. We have a huge playground, which is also a great way to navigate on the Esplanade. And we also have a huge light up triangle as well that can be seen pretty much from the other side of the playa. So again, another way to help navigate and help you come find me. Have a good day.